Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today's video I'm going to be doing my labour and birth story with Charlie. I've already done my labour and delivery story with Elise, so I thought I would follow straight on with my second delivery. So Charlie, as I said, is my youngest. He's 23 months and he will be 2 at the end of April, which is really sad, and it's gone so quickly just as it did the first time round. So if you've watched my labour and delivery with Elise and now you're watching this one, by the end of it you will see that they are very different, and I will link that below if you haven't watched that already, my story with Elise. So jumping straight in, Charlie was born on the 27th of April 2014. I was actually due on the 24th, which was a Thursday. So my due date came and went and no baby. I was on time with my first one. She came on her due date, so this was all a bit new to me. So I had a stretch and sweep on the Friday, hoping it would work, and afterwards I didn't feel a pain, nothing. Whereas again, the first time I had one, I was cramping straight away, having like sort of Braxton Hicks contractions, and this time nothing. So I thought, great, it's not going to work. So Friday came and went. Saturday morning I woke up, didn't feel a pain, felt absolutely fine. Got to lunchtime and I thought, this baby's not coming today, we'll just go about our day as normal. So in the evening my husband said, you know, can I go to the gym? It's all right, you don't feel like you're going to go into labour? I was like, honestly, just go, this baby's not coming. I'd had a fairly difficult pregnancy. I mean, not, you know, to a lot of people's standards, it was a pretty okay pregnancy, but it wasn't as smooth as my first one. So I thought, you know, this baby's just going to be a pain right until the very end, and believe me, he was. So excuse me, just getting over like a flu thing, sorry about that. But yeah, so Friday evening Rich went to the gym. I put Elise to bed and she was acting really weird. She was crying, saying she didn't want me to go and being really clingy, and that's not normally like her at bedtime. She's normally really good and will go to bed. So put her to bed, and for some reason I had an urge to do a bump photo, which I'll try and insert now. Yeah. So yeah, I took that photo. It was around 7:30, thinking, I hope and pray this is my last bump photo. And I went downstairs, made my raspberry leaf tea, sat on my birthing ball watching, what's the show? Britain's Got Talent. So I sat there till about 9:30 and Rich came home. And it was as if he walked through the door and I started getting a few twinges and pains and thinking, oh, is this it? Is it not? And he's asking how I was feeling. And I said, you know, I think this is just Braxton Hicks, it's false alarm. And then I had about 2 hours of quite regular contractions, and then I went up to bed thinking, well, I'm just going to get pyjamas on, another false start, because I'd been kind of having regular Braxton Hicks for a good couple of weeks. But he said, no, I think we need to phone the hospital. So I was like, why, you know, I don't feel like I'm going to go into labour, it's fine. So he said, you know, I've just got a feeling, I think you should phone them. And also we have friends that were coming to watch Elise because we live quite far away from family, so, you know, we wanted to give them enough notice to kind of get round. So phoned them and they said, yeah, I think you should come in. I was like, really? But I didn't feel like I needed to be there. But they said, you know, given the fact that your first labour was really quick, you were on time with your first one, I think you should come in. So called our friends, got in the car, went up to the hospital. I was in a really foul mood because I just wanted to go to bed, and I thought, oh, you know, we're wasting our time, going to be wasting the midwife's time, it's going to be a false start, blah, 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 we're going to end up coming home. So we got in there and I was in a really bad mood still when we got in there, and I was a bit kind of not off with the midwife, but I was like, seriously, I don't even know why I'm here, it's all him, like really miserable. And I remember her saying, you know, to be honest, you don't really look like you're in labour, I'll check you, but I'm probably going to send you home. So she checked me and I was actually I was 5 to 6 centimetres. So she said, you know, if this goes like your first labour, you're going to be having him within the hour, you need to get in the pool. So by the time I got into the pool, it was just gone midnight. And then 5.5 hours later, still no baby. And she said, I think, you know, you should get out of the pool, we'll kind of see what's going on. So I was at 7 centimetres and I kind of seemed to stayed at 7 centimetres for quite a while. I couldn't seem to get above that. So they broke my waters, which was a new experience. So they broke my waters, I think around 6, I think it was. And then everything just kicked up a notch. The pain was unbelievable. It was like I felt him move down, and it was just intense. And so then she checked me and I was 10 centimetres, but she couldn't actually see his head and she couldn't figure out why he wasn't moving down. So she said, I can't feel any, I think they feel the cervix, there's no cervix over the head. I can feel his head, but it's just not coming down and I can't understand why. And all the time, he's breathing, heart rate was fine. But I think it got to about, roughly around 8:30, and it was the changeover from the midwives. And the hospital I gave birth in, there was a midwife-led unit, and then right next door was labour ward. So if you have no problems, you are on the midwife-led unit. So I went there automatically because I just wanted a nice water birth and everything go nice and smooth. And yeah, so it got to about 8:30 in the morning. So I was going out for a good 8.5 hours in labour. And they said, it seems that your baby is stuck, which is not what any mum wants to hear. So they had thought what had happened was he was actually coming out not only back to back like my first labour, but he was also coming out forehead first. So I effectively needed to dilate around 15 centimetres to get him out. Obviously that's not going to happen. So it all then kind of kicked up a notch, and the bedsides were flipped up, the gas nerves taken away from me, and I was literally whipped round to the labour ward. We were running down down the corridor. Well, I obviously wasn't, I was on the bed, but everyone was running down, put me in, and there was another midwife there and a consultant, and they told me, I wasn't even given a choice. I was told I was having an epidural, and I was going down to theatre to have a C-section. So I was terrified. I really didn't want to have one, and by this point I was kicking, screaming, rolling around on the bed. I mean, it could not have been more different than my labour with Elise. And this anaesthetist, the people that give you your epidural, he came in and he was like, okay, you need to keep still. And I thought, are you kidding me? I've got a baby that's trying to come out the wrong way, and he's making his way, and I could feel him. And he's like, you need to keep still. I thought, are you joking me? I'm in so much pain, like moving, like rolling back and forth on the bed was the only thing that, made me comfortable. So I all of a sudden had this urge to push. So he called the midwives and he was like, why am I giving her an epidural? She wants to push. So they all came running in. I just remember hearing them saying, no, don't push the baby's stuck, you can't come out. So they had a look and they were like, wow, I don't know how, but he is coming and he is forehead first. So it might explain why I was in absolute agony, because I just felt like, I'm sorry if you're squeamish now, I felt like I was just being ripped apart down there. It was a pain like I've never felt before. And they'd taken away my gas and air, so luckily they gave that back to me. And then all of a sudden I noticed that the room started filling up, and I looked at my husband and I could see he was getting quite emotional. I think obviously he realised kind of the severity of the situation, whereas I didn't, which obviously I think is a good thing. So all the midwives and consultants were around, and I think I had about 5 or 6 people in there from what I can remember. And they said to me, this is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but you need to push with everything you've got. So I just remember pushing, and I now know that what they were talking about was that they were umming and ahhing whether they would have to break his shoulder to get him out because of the way he was coming out. But as I was pushing, the doctor was actually using her hands and actually manoeuvring him. So I'm very lucky that I didn't need a ventouse or forceps, and I did have to have another episiotomy to obviously help, get his chin out and get his head. So as I was pushing, they were manoeuvring his head. And once they got the head out, I did a really big push, and yeah, my little Charlie was born, and he came out, and oh, here we go again with the tears. So yeah, he came out and he just made a little murmur just like his sister, and they put him on me, and he was just looking around the room, and he was just so alert. It was crazy, and he had this little red mark on his head where obviously he'd been coming down and like rubbing in the birth canal, and yeah, just like his sister, he was lovely and perfect. And yeah, all the pain, like I said before, all the pain just instantly went away. And I am well aware there are some women that for them the instant rush of love doesn't come, and that's not a bad thing if it doesn't. I know people that it didn't happen to, and it's completely normal. So I don't want you to watch these videos and think, oh, you know, that's how it's supposed to be. It just was for me. I will be honest, a couple of days later I was is another video I will do this on, but I did get really bad anxiety, and I had bad anxiety during my pregnancy, and then I started to feel like I wasn't bonding with him and connecting with him. But again, that's another subject, so I'll do that in another video. But the instant moment I looked at him, and yeah, I just was like, he's my son and I love him. And 9.5 hours worth of absolute pain was completely worth it. And just like his sister, I would do it over and over again to get that feeling. And yeah, it's just amazing, and I feel so broody when I talk about giving birth again. And yeah, it's all lovely, and yeah, and now he's going to be 2, which is crazy. And so yeah, he made quite an entrance, and he's been the same ever since. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see I post regular photos of his antics. He's a little he's a little whirlwind, but he's brilliant. So yeah, that is my story with Charlie. As I said, I have already filmed my birth story with Elise, and I will link that below. Again, if you are pregnant and watching this, congratulations. I hope I haven't scared you. And I feel like I'm living proof that you can have 2 different labours and it works out fine. There's nothing, like I said before, there isn't anything that can be thrown your way that you won't be able to handle. We're built that way. We're built to handle it. Our bodies are built to handle it. And whether it's a natural birth, C-section, assisted delivery, you will get through it. It might not feel like it at the time, but you are stronger than you think. And if I can do it, so can you, because normally I used to get paper cut and think I was dying. So if I survived it and would happily do it again, it's really not that bad. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching as ever. If you like my videos and would like to see more from me, please hit the big thumbs up button and hit subscribe, and I will be back with another video very shortly. Thank you for watching.